Next on the list is our thoughts on the live-action One Piece so far.
Oh, I really like it, Ed.
Like, I will say, okay, two things. Two things that they did better than the anime, hands down.
Well, they're killing people right off the bat, so that's helpful.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they were always, like, there was always implied people dying, but it was never anybody important.
Yeah, but this is live action, Ed, so if live action we're trying to go with Zoro is slashing people with swords, it's like, I'm sorry, people need to be dying right off the bat.
No, they were dying in the anime, too. They just didn't have names or faces. No named character ever... Like, if you had a name, you didn't die.
Yeah.
Like, that was an established rule in One Piece from the jump.
So,
all right, the number two thing that they did better than the anime was the set of the Baratie.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It was...
Like, honestly, better than how they drew it
it was gorgeous.
Like, in the anime.
That restaurant was just beautiful.
And the number one thing they did better is... It's not only did it started with 7-year-old Luffy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the story started with 7-year-old Luffy, and it started with him stabbing himself in the eye to prove to Shanks he was tough.
Yeah.
Because the anime missed that part. Like they did something else. I think like they had like the Mountain Bandit do it.
I think they've really nailed it with Zoro.
Yeah, he's like he will grow very well, I bet, like as they continue the show, because it got renewed for a second season.
I don't know if you
heard that, but that's a thing.
I think that as the show has progressed, the animated One Piece, they have actually... Zoro has lost personality.
Yeah.
So I think so far the live action thing is doing a really good job of developing his personality outside of like what he does, because Zoro is the most loyal to Luffy, and if Luffy said, all right, we're gonna march into death, Zoro would be like, okay, this is where I die. And I feel like they lose his motivations in a way along the way.
What, in the new world where they're at now?
Yeah, like they kind of just really, it becomes all about fighting for Zoro.
I haven't caught up yet, but I hear he's getting a lot of backstory. Like, where he has like traces to Wano Kingdom and stuff. Spoiler alert. Like his origin traces to Wano Kingdom. I'm pretty sure you're caught up with the anime, but not the manga. So no. I don't know if that's been revealed yet.
I'm sure that Zoro's gonna get some stuff. I'm just saying, like right now, it's just like he kind of. I think it's happened with some of the other crew members too, like Nami's had long periods where she's just yelling and punching people in the head and being selfish and greedy. Not in an over-the-top way, just in the way that she is.
Yeah,
but
she has, like, big development. Like, she had, like, her big development plot in the East Blue. And that, that was, like, kind of mirroring what Robin had later on. And... I think they also get like developments in there, like big chunks, and like a lot of these characters also develop during fights too.
I would say in the anime, Usopp, Sanji, and Luffy get the most like personality time through the whole series. When it comes to
Luffy's
like
personality does not change.
Well, he's the main. It's just like he's the main character, so you're with him through all of his character development, right? And then Usopp is very emotional, and he is a very emotional journey because that's like who he is. And so, especially like when we were on Don Quixote's island, like. There's so much that happens with Usopp on Don Quixote's island. He gets
his God Usopp arc.
Right, and that's a whole big deal. Just like when he was wearing the mask, it was a whole big deal. I mean, there is really, I feel like a lot of attention is paid to what's going on emotionally with Usopp, more so than a lot of the other crewmates.
Well, like,
and
Usopp's
the same with
Is
Sanji.
he, like, of all of the crew, he is by far the most, like, a normal human He just has a really high constitution.
Yeah, it's like him and Nami are the two that are like constantly like, oh, we gotta hide behind something because these people are fucking monsters.
Yeah, Nami doesn't have a very high constitution, but she has a lot of plot armor.
And she's also
a lot stealthier. She's got a really, she's got, magic powers with her stick.
Right. She's constantly in a support role. She's doing crowd clearing, but she's
not taking hits. Like, Usopp
action.
is like a tank.
Yeah.
Usopp would have the third highest, maybe fourth under Frankie, not counting Monster Chopper.
I would say Frankie can take more punishment than Monster Chopper.
Probably.
Remember, there's a time where they got body switched.
Yeah,
remember?
Like Monster Chopper is an interesting.
Remember when they got body switched and Frankie immediately takes the rumble pellets, turns into the monster, and then him, Monster Chopper, and Frankie's body are tussling on a equal, and that's with Frankie not being in his body. So what can Frankie do in his body that Frankie's body with no experience was tussling with Monster Chopper with no experience, but Monster Chopper's not really about experience, it's about being a giant monster. So I would say that definitely Frankie's kind of scales Frankie. Because I've always been of the opinion that Frankie is very close.
For Frankie.
I think Frankie is very close to Sanji in power. I think that Frankie and Sanji, if they went head to head, it would be a really close fight. I think now that Sanji has the Germa suit, I think that would make the difference for certain. But I would definitely say without the Germa suit,
that puts him back up with Zoro and Luffy, the trifecta.
And then he's got the General Frankie suit now too, which if it was General Frankie suit versus Germa suit Sanji once again, I think that's going to be a really close fight. That Sanji wins because of speed and maneuverability, but also like Sanji has to just fucking wail on him forever, and he takes multiple shots along the way.
Yeah, and the Iron General Frankie was like that boost in power over anything that Sanji had. Even like how he could the Diablo Jumble was getting, that was like long ago. By that point,
I miss the Diablo. I miss Sanji having firepower.
It was a big deal that he could light his foot on fire.
And now he never does it anymore.
Well, he could just... and it got to the point where he could just do it casually.
Oh, yeah, he just casually catch on fire his whole body.
That just became a passive part of his power, which happens to characters in this, like Pearl from the East Blue arc, who they completely skipped over. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them not including... I understand
why the guy with the explodey staff, all that gets cut out. I get that. That would have been so expensive. I
guess. It would be all CGI though.
I think though that what they did was fine because it's so plausible that Mihawk came looking for them because Zoro would just challenge him to a duel. So the stuff in between is the continuity is still there.
But then that's how Luffy absolves his debt by defeating Don Krieg, who takes the restaurant hostage. And he establishes himself as I'm gonna be king of the pirates. But establishes himself in Zeph's eye, so it's all right, Pirate King, you're dismissed.
I think that the way that they slide from Buggy, I think the way they transition from Buggy to Arlong is they keep the continuity. Yeah. And I think they do a really good job of making Sanji's journey more of an emotional one without the combat context and stuff.
I still say that they did not include Alvida because they are trying really hard not to get canceled.
Yeah.
Because how do you turn a fat bitch into a skinny bitch? By telling you that she ate a magic fruit.
No, I agree with you. They made Buggy the Joker. Buggy is absolutely Heath Ledger's Joker with a touch of Pennywise the Clown from It.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
He's not Buggy at all.
He's
not
very,
even
like,
slightly Buggy
no,
the
he
clown.
He is Hollywood creepy clown trademark. I mean,
I'm pretty okay with it so far.
Yeah, it's like very much intended for an English audience killer clown. Like, he's doing all the things that Buggy did, but
he's doing them with...
I also feel like the writers of the show knew what Buggy's future arcs would become when they were writing this Buggy.
Right, they found a way to make Buggy more exciting.
I don't even think Oda was going to plan all that shit that Buggy was becoming.
No.
Like, I think he's one of the 4 warlords by now.
Yes, he became a warlord. But then they canceled warlords.
Yeah, sorry. So he's not one of the 4
emperors.
Yeah, the emperors of the sea.
No, all the emperors. All the emperors are still the same for me. That hasn't changed yet.
There hasn't been any plot on Edward Weevil yet, has there?
That's the big dude with his mama.
Whitebeard's son.
Yeah.
Not
with
tiny
too much.
Little like looks like Tiger Woods' mama character.
Haven't seen a lot of him yet.
Yeah. I think he's gonna join the Marines.
The Buggy in the anime, Buggy is a coward. He is absolutely a coward. I mean, he still does things that are big and things that are brave.
Yeah, cowardice levels comparable to Usopp.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say he is like 30% less cowardly than Usopp.
Yeah.
Maybe 40%, but he's still quite cowardly. When he gets his blood up, he's like, yeah, I've got knives, I'll use them. I've got a power that makes me reasonably indestructible.
Yeah, but if it looks like somebody's got the clear upper hand on
he'll
bug out.
If it looks like he can flashily run away, he's gonna flashily run away.
Mm-hmm.
So
big smoke bomb.
Definitely the live action Buggy is not cowardly in that same way.
Yeah.
I would say he's not brave, but he's not a fucking coward. It's like when they're in Impel Down.
And
Buggy does a lot through that arc.
Oh yeah,
even though he's not very powerful at all.
He's got probably more character development than some of the crew. Like, definitely more than Jinbei.
Jinbei's the same person he's been since we've met him.
Yeah, arguably more than Brook. Probably the same amount as... Brook has the part with Laboon at the Red Line, which is also part of his arc and something that happened way, way long before we even met him.
Well, Brook also has fighting Big Mom. Like, Brook has that whole thing where he fights Big Mom and he deals with Big Mom, where he just chooses to be outstandingly brave. Mm-hmm. And he puts everything he has. Like Luffy always says, you have to be willing to put everything on the line, to put your life on the line. Mm-hmm. And Brook really makes the decision to do that. And I think that was a big character development for him there. Where Brook is not a coward, but he's kind of like a scaredy pants sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's not a serious person. Like, he's not serious ever. And I think that during his shit with Mom, I think he learned that he needs to be serious sometimes. He needs to take things seriously sometimes.
Like, and he became a rock star in the 2-year time skip.
Right, but he became a rock star that he still had his managers that he had at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the long arm tribe that were kind of assholes.
But it's not like he was taking care of himself that whole time. He had managers that were managing everything. So he gained power and he gained fame and he did stuff, but it was still not as much. He did power development, but not character development. He just became more of what he already was.
You could even include some of the earliest panels of the manga where Luffy says, I need a crew of at least 10 guys and maybe a musician. You could include that one panel as part of Brook's development.
Musician. He's been looking for a music. That was after Zoro.
Because, I need a cook and a musician. Those were his priorities.
Yeah.
He found Zoro. He ran into Zoro, who was oh, pirate hunter. I bet he would make a good addition.
That was kind of, his first
crew. Like, I would need a
crewmate
pirate
wasn't...
hunter. Like, it just happened to be Zoro.
Yeah, it wasn't planned out. He wasn't like this is the position I'm looking for. He was like, I'm looking for crewmates. And then once he found Zoro, he became
he heard
more
about
targeted.
Zoro having had been captured by the Marines. So, maybe I'll ask him to join my crew. I'll break him out of this prison.
You know, going back to Brook, I think his journey during the time skip, like I said, it was less of a journey of character development. I think it was more like a journey of healing for him, because when they first met him, he'd been floating around on a ship in the fog alone for 50 years with no hope of leaving the fog because his shadow had gotten taken. So things got worse for him along the way.
Oh yeah.
So I really think that, like, he was pretty fucked up when they first met him. Like, he was half out of his mind. Maybe even more so. Just not in, like, a dangerous way, but in a, like,
a lost soul kind of way. And then he became the Soul King.
Yes.
Because he met the King of Pirates, the future King of Pirates.
So I think that was more a journey of healing for him, where he still very much was the same person at the end, but he was much less hurt from everything that he'd been through.
So I've got a theory, like a when Luffy becomes the King of Pirates theory, right? Okay, so we don't see him wearing like a coat very often, you know.
Yeah.
I bet like once he becomes the king, he will don a coat.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of like Gold Roger
with
did.
like the shoulder things. Yeah, absolutely. Luffy's gonna get it. I bet it'll look like one of the long marine coats. But
when Shaggy asked him at Sabado Archipelago, who's like Silver's Rayleigh's like whatever fake wife or whatever, and she's like, why do you want to become the King of Pirates? He goes, because the King of Pirates is the man who is the most free man in the world. And I think his he may or may not take off the hat, but like his one rule will be he won't go outside without the coat. That is the that ties him to the earth. Like obviously he won't say that in
I could see
in
him
words, but like like adopting that mentality.
I could see him
like you have to even a king has to have one rule. Like you belong to the earth one way or the other, and Mother Earth is a such greater force than you. So even a king must abide by at least one rule.
I could see Luffy, once he becomes King of the Pirates, like, giving away the hat to somebody. Once he's king. I could see him doing that.
I would say either Nami or Robin would wear it.
I think he would give it to, like, a child.
Probably, yeah. Or, like, give it to Momonosuke. Maybe. No, he's already a king.
No, that's... Because he's not... Momonosuke is not ever... Like, he's not a pirate. He's not going to be a pirate.
True.
He's going to be the Shogun of Wano.
I don't know if he ever got closure on his mother, either. Like, because she has the hopping forward in time powers.
No, they made it pretty clear she was dead.
I think...
I think there was a scene where there was a swung sword in a spray of blood.
All right.
If I remember correctly. So... I guess they could say she did jump forward and then she'd have a big old scar to say she's... I guess they could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's not a confirmed death.
I bet, like, if he really wanted to... I think she's dead. I don't think he's going to. But we're not done Wano yet, so very well it could be that he decides that she was able to jump forward after being wounded.
Oh, yeah. Like, with a power like that, you could absolutely set up that kind of character.
Yeah. But like I said, I think the depiction was that she's fucking dead. Like, they were pretty not joking around about her being dead. So, but, like, it is One Piece. He can bring people back whenever he wants to. Because there's not perfect continuity. He's clearly made decisions and there's been a lot of retro along the way and other things like that, which you have to. He's at like 1,100 episodes or something crazy.
Another complaint I have about the live action is they cut Django, of all people. There's another like along with Don Creek.
Django. Oh, is
the
that
Michael Jackson looking dude, the hypnotist? You
know who I'm disappointed they cut? Is The squid with 6 swords.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because he comes back.
Arlong arc yet.
He comes back in the
so
anime.
They're completely done with season 1 as released on Netflix
correct.
Right now, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Have you watched the whole thing?
Yes.
All right, because, I got to maybe 2 episodes of Arlong's introduction. So
I'm through Arlong. There was an implication that Smoker's coming.
Oh, nice.
So there was like a brief scene of Smoker talking.
So Smoker hasn't come yet?
Well, we've seen him, but he hasn't. It was like end of the episode cameo kind of Smoker. So I'm not actually 100% certain that I think they released.
It's at its conclusion yet.
I think they released everything at once. So maybe that's the beginning of season 2, which I think that would be a good place for the beginning of season 2, even though they're not like
them running from Smoker onto the Grand Line.
Right, is where it begins. So you'd think, don't we want to start it right before they enter the Grand Line? No, because I think the engaging with Smoker in that place, I think that's really where the beginning of the journey begins. It's not when they get to Reverse Mountain. It's that brief stop.
Well, I would say like the season would best end at Logtown.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It ends directly before Logtown.
I think
that's a
great. It starts with Logtown.
For season 2, we start at Logtown. I think that's a good place to start.
I feel like that's way too early, though. I think season 2 would start after they've hit the Grand Line, because, let's say season 1 doesn't get renewed for a second season. The curse of all live-action anime adaptations so far, up until One Piece, which
it's been renewed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they broke the curse. But the story could be like they, went to the Grand Line and they died. So it would end at Reverse Mountain.
I think that
and I also like how Zoro was introduced with Baroque Works, because that could be that another thing.
Baroque Works already approached him.
Yeah, if
I remember that.
If it doesn't get renewed, then it was just like a throwaway at the intro scene.
I think it's good that it's starting season 2 with Logtown, because you know what? I think with Dragon's appearance, that is the implication of a larger world with bigger things going on.
That's a thing that you put. That's the thing that you put at the end of the season. The implications of a larger world. That's what gets them hyped up for season 2.
It's the beginning of the journey. It's a
way
you launch.
The beginning of the journey starts with the step.
No, I mean so. What we've seen so far is their journey in the East Blue. And Logtown is the end of their journey in the East Blue. They fought Arlong. The East Blue is over. East Blue's world is over. Because with Dragon showing up is the launching point to this new world that they're going into. It's Logtown is really where the ante gets upped. So to...
Oh yeah, you meet Smoker. He's the first Logia fruit user.
Right, and I think that's a good launching point for a second season. Mm-hmm.
And then you meet Shanks.
First episode. This is where the ante's getting upped, because this means the first season was their complete journey of the East Blue. Yeah, so it didn't really end on a dramatic cliffhanger so much as it ended on, this is the completion of our East Blue story of how we gained our crew. Because that's what it is. At the end of Arlong is, we have formed our crew. That's the moment they become a crew, is after they defeat Arlong, and then Logtown is their first adventure as an actual crew. They did the thing where they put their foot on the barrel and they are a crew, and Logtown is where we are officially, we are the Strong Hat Pirates, and we are here to enter the Grand Line.
Strong Hats.
Oh, yeah, did I, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
One Piece, time check, 3:06, oh yeah. All right, we got time.
We gotta roll one more. We got time for one more joint, my dude.
Yeah, well, roll it up, bro.
No, you roll it up because yours wasn't, mine didn't.
We're gonna